What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. This is United vs. Everybody. I am your host, Sean, and we are back again with a Man United news roundup to chat a lot about the interesting bit of news we got yesterday. I'm sure you guys all know what I'm talking about. You guys have probably all discussed it on other channels. You've probably done your due diligence and everything. You guys probably came prepared, and that's what I want to see. Come prepared. Bring the hate, bring the positivity, bring whatever you want. Just bring it. That's all I ask. But we are back. I am your host, Sean. The Man United news roundups are going to be kicking into high gear now that not only the season is ending, silly season is beginning. And you know what that means. Transfer talk, news, rumors, all of it. We are going to be here to do all that. And we are just keeping things going today. We got to do that today. Tomorrow, we're going to preview Friday's match against Chelsea. Yes, Friday. It is on Friday, which is very, very weird. Honestly, I'm caring less and less about the match, the last two league matches. I'm caring less and less about them with every day that passes. They literally mean nothing right now other than a chance for maybe some of the youngsters to get some minutes, maybe to impress as well. But nevertheless, we will do that short preview and go through all that. But today it is news. We've got a lot to talk about. I want your thoughts. I know you guys have some, so like the video, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check the memberships to learn how you can get more involved in the channel, whether that's questions from a boot, scouting reports, or the ideas for the episodes of What If. There are even options for you guys to join me live virtually if that's something that you feel like doing as well. So make sure to check those out. You know, there's tons of ways you guys can get more involved other than just the emojis and whatnot. I even added a new option. So if you guys noticed, wearing one of the designs, the new designs from the UVE store. Go check out the UVE store, by the way. But there's even an option now for members to custom. You can get a custom Triptych United shirt. So basically, what that membership enables you to do is to say, I want these three shirts. They don't have to be from the same season or whatever. They can be all home. They can be all the way, whatever you want. They could be a keeper jersey if you want. I will make a custom one for you to go ahead and order on the UVE store straight up. So that's something I thought about doing. This is the one I got a sample of to see how that looks, and I think it looks fire in person. You can see this is 93, 94. So we got the black one, which is this one right here next to me. We've got the home, and then we've got obviously the green and gold that you saw me wearing yesterday. Thought I would just maybe add a couple of these. So those are available in the UVE store. Check those out as well. How's everyone doing today on a Wednesday afternoon? For me, it's a bit rainy, a bit humid, it's a bit muggy out. I woke up this morning, went outside. It was already humid. It kind of feels like when you wake up when you're camping or something in the summer, and you wake up, you go outside. It's just like it feels like you're in an armpit. It's really that's what I've always described it as, but that is what it's going on today. Big up, Darko. Good to see you, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Anybody interested in an FC25, by the way, if you have Xbox, I think it's on sale right now on Xbox Marketplace for like $20. So I know some people are typically on the fence. Let's face it, video games are super expensive these days. They have gotten out a lot of the bugs since the game's release. There are still some of the things, I wouldn't call them bugs. They're just they added features and they didn't really quite test them, it seems like. But that is $20 now on the Xbox Marketplace if anyone's interested. So, got dog hair in my mouth. So what happens when you give your dogs a kiss on the head? Anybody watching the championship playoffs? I was watching some of the Sunderland Coventry match yesterday. It will be Sheffield United versus Sunderland, though, in the final to see who will be the third championship team to gain promotion to the Premier League next season. We know that Burnley and Leeds are already here. Sounds like it could be either Sheffield or Sunderland. Coventry versus Sunderland yesterday nearly went to pens, but a late extra stoppage time winner from Ballard made that 3-2 on aggregate. Pretty cool match. It was pretty boring for a little while, and then it just got really ramped up towards the end. But Sunderland or Sheffield United, who's it gonna be? Who do you guys want it to be? I don't know if you guys. Well, obviously, everyone's eyes are going to be on Joe Bellingham, Chris Rigg. Those are the big names that we've seen. I like Job. Looks very good. Anyone who calls Casemiro slow, though, be prepared to be frustrated with Job. He's not the fastest player. Neither is Hackney, by the way, but you don't have to be. I'm just saying for the people who think that speed is important, Job is gonna do your head in. But it's interesting stuff. So we'll obviously be keeping an eye on that as we go into it. 1 week left. That is true, man. One more week, and we are counting it down. So Sean, was necessary for Amorim to make it public. His support. Well, he didn't make it public. That all came out yesterday, didn't it? So the news got a hold of that, and then obviously Amorim. You can't really lie. What's he gonna do? Lie? Not really. He can do about that really. So stuff's gonna get leaked, and then you have to kind of get out ahead of it. We call that controlling the narrative, and then that's how you stay just in control. I don't really think there's anything wrong with it personally. I mean, what's he going to do? It was going to be asked. Obviously, it got leaked yesterday, so he was going to be discussing it. But we're going to talk about that today. Sanjay, big up, man. How are you doing? Hope you're doing well. Hope you are doing well. So let's talk about a little team news going into this one first and foremost, just because we're all sweating, right, on a lot of the fitness for some of these first-team players. We know that some of them are not going to be playing for the rest of the season. Guys like Xerxes, perhaps even Dallo. Obviously, Licha is going to be out probably till next November, December, around that time. But United did hold an open training today. You can go watch that on YouTube. It's like a 45-minute long video of everyone getting involved in training and just going through the basic workout, warm-ups, everything. But there were a few noticeable absentees, and the reason I talked about it as we are in the build-up to the final, some of this could impact team selection for the final. So notable absentees. So De Ligt, Dallo, Heaven not present. I think De Ligt is kind of doing individual stuff, but Heaven, Dallo still doing individual stuff. Heaven, De Ligt both out. Dallo training on his own on grass. Lenny Euro not involved in the training today. I'm going to be super pissed if he misses the final from some little foot issue that we got the other day against West Ham. I'm feeling less and less confident, though, that he's going to be fit in a week. Now, Nathan Salt reports that Euro was in the gym, though, kind of doing his own fitness stuff today. So there were some photos rolling around. So we'll see if he's got a whole nother week to get fit. I don't think he'll be losing a whole lot of match fitness. Right, it only have been a week, but I just worry if the foot will be good. We've not yet seen a whole lot of updates on that, but we'll see. Two names that were involved as well. Collier's back. Obviously, he's involved in full training. If he's involved in full training, in my opinion, he should be on the bench. Sekou Kone trained with the first team as well. So hopefully, adding a couple of midfield options as we go into this match on Friday. And then some midfield options just to basically just get a run out against Villa after this finals. Because remember, we play the final and then we play our final league fixtures. So I'd like to see a couple of these midfielders. I don't want to see any starters on Friday because that would be super, super annoying. Big up, Danny. Hope you're doing well, man. Do you have PlayStation or Xbox, Danny? I don't know if you probably... I mentioned that FC25 is $20 on Xbox right now in Marketplace. So I know some people are holding off because video games are expensive, y'all. They're like $60 and that's just the bare bones. you want to get anything else if you're into like Ultimate Team. I've never been into Ultimate Team, so I never had to pay for. I never bought the expensive versions that I just don't need to waste the money for me. But $20 Xbox Marketplace gets you FC25. You can pick it up right now. Live start points are right before the Bilbao match on the second leg, so you can pick it up right there. Play the last couple matches of the season. Get your summers. That's what I do right now. I'll start the live start point right now. I'll get my scouts in order. I'll get my transfer targets in order. I'll get some of my business done early. I'll start getting some academy prospects scouted. Keep the really good ones, and then we go from there. I change my academy scouts every 3 months, different positions, and then we go hard. I try to keep it realistic if possible, but let me know how everyone is doing today. So, moving on, let's talk about some of the big news a little higher up at this club right now. Don't forget that like button for me if you haven't yet. So in it's almost sounding like this could be the norm moving forward if things don't start improving on our seasons. But it's being reported by Paul Hurst that Manchester United have decided against holding an end of the season awards dinner after reportedly the disappointing performance of the first team. Now, the awards are going to be presented on the pitch before the Aston Villa game. Honestly, could not care less. care last year when it was canceled. Could not care less this year. I'm going to open this window just a bit. Let's get some light in here. I feel like it's a little dark. That's better. Don't care about the end of the season awards. These players don't deserve them, in my opinion. The club clearly did not read the room when they posted the voting for Player of the Year after that loss to West Ham. That was just like literally read the room, you guys. It's ridiculous. Honestly, no one deserves an award. I don't care who your favorite player is. I don't care who's worked hard. Nobody deserves an award. You win as a team, you lose as a team, you're shit as a team. And this season has been shit as a team. Nobody gets one. The women's team, cool. They can go get one. The youngsters, yeah, hand out that Jimmy Murphy player of the season. Go for it. Men's first team, nope. They can serve the drinks at the award dinner for the women and the youngsters, as far as I'm concerned, because they've been absolute garbage. And for the people out there who want to say, hey, it's disrespectful to Sir Matt or whatever, to not hand out the award, the players have been disrespectful to Sir Matt. They've been disrespectful to Sir Alex, to Jimmy Murphy, the Busby Babes, the fans. They've been disrespectful to the badge with their garbage performances, their complete lack of mentality, their lack of aggression and performance and perseverance and resilience. That is the ultimate disrespect to everything that this badge stands for. Club, the fans, the people who came before, the people who've died. That is disrespect. Awards are for winners. When you deserve an award, you'll get an award. That's basically how I look at it. Until then, these first team players need to have a look in the mirror. They need to fix up or they can fuck off. I'm done. I'm done with these first team players. And no, winning a Europa League final is not going to change my mind on a fair few of them. I know it won't change your mind for you guys as well, for a lot of these guys. Cool. Lift the trophy. I want the trophy. Not just because it gets us Champions League football, because it's a trophy and I want to win it, but does not change how I feel about a lot of these players. Does not change the fact that some of them need to go. Does not change the fact that some of them are just not good enough. That's just the way I feel. I don't think I'm alone. You guys let me know how you feel about this awards dinner possibly being canceled, second year running. Are you that bummed? I'm not. I really can't be bothered with this point. The players can't be bothered. Why should I? So it is what it is. It's going to be one of those streams today, you guys. So I'm sure you've all seen reports as well, as we move on to the next topic, that Ineos will not be paying for staff to go to the Europa League final. And reportedly, any staff members who want to go to the Europa League final are going to have to buy their own tickets, just like the rest of us. Anybody else who won, good luck though, because of those things. Trust me, I looked. Unless you've got a couple thousand lying around, you're not going, and that's just for a ticket. It will not, because they're done. You're not going to get any anymore. So and that does include flights, which I looked at that. No flights available through Delta anyway. And then you got lodging, which I'm sure you're not going to find at all. Unless you literally leave 4 days ahead of time and fly back like 2 or 3 days after, you're not flying to Bilbao around the final. It's just not happening. So basically that means no staff are going to be going. Apparently a screening of the final is going to be held in Manchester with free drinks. So the club's paying for drinks. Awesome. Now, reportedly, the idea behind this is that this was to ensure that the 15,000, so United were allocated 15,000 tickets. Now, the decision not to pay for staff to go was to ensure that fans would have access to the tickets. That means that the maximum allocation is for fans, so more fans can go. So there's that added level, of, I guess you can call it consideration, right? This isn't the first time I've seen this kind of level of cost cutting, though, from Ineos. Remember, staff were not automatically brought to the FA Cup final. None of those perks were offered. Bruno offered to pay for a lot of that, but he was denied last season. So it's not the first time we've seen that. Now, I know there's all these people out there saying Sir Jim's just another Glazer. He's just pocketing the money. Sir Jim's not pocketing the money. It's not about him trying to take money. It's about Ineos are trying to cut down on the spending. And they're doing that in as many areas of this club as possible. We've seen the staff cuts. We've seen some charity stuff. We've seen steward bonuses and whatnot all be cut as a part of this endeavor to save money. Now, again, he's not pocketing the money. Still, it's not a good look at all. It's just one bad look after another. The optics have been in the mud this season as far as PR, as far as Ineos. You have to really try to look worse than the Glazers. Like that has to be your goal. I'm not saying he is worse, Sir Jim, but a lot of the decisions are just not. They're just. It's like read the room, man. Like this was not the greatest decision at the best time. Um, it's almost like in some ways Ineos are trying to out-Glazer the Glazers. It's just not great. What's more important? It's a hard question though. Like what's more important? More tickets for fans or bringing staff and their family to the final, like paying for that? Because that does mean less tickets for fans, right? Because there's it's not our stadium. It's not like we can just say, well, everyone gets a spot here. That's not how it works. It's a tough spot, for sure. It's definitely a perk. I feel like to get tickets as an employee to go to this, and not only that, but for you and your family and whatnot, it's definitely a perk. It's not. It's kind of like the lunches. To me, that's an excellent perk to have. But again, it just looks bad not doing it because other clubs are doing it. PSG are buying 600 tickets for their staff for their Champions League final against Inter, for instance. So when you compare, it's definitely not a good look. But apparently, not all staff are going to be entirely out of luck, according to Mark Ogden. Now, Mark Ogden reports that Ruben Amorim has paid for 30 of his Manchester United backroom staff to take their families to the Europa League final. And this came after he was told by the that the coaches, the physios, and the support team are going to have to pay for their tickets. So he stepped in, Ruben Amorim, to pay for those people to go. The coaching, the physios, the supports. I don't know why those people weren't already going. Why aren't the coaches and the physios just automatically going? That makes zero sense. They're the coaches. They have to kind of be there, right? Doesn't make any sense. But he's stepped in to pay for that. And reportedly, this includes low-paid members of staff. And this was done reportedly by Mark Ogden as reward and recognition for their contribution and commitment to the club during a difficult 6 months. Sources have apparently said that when it was made clear to Amorim that the club would not pay for tickets for his coaches and staff, he told the United hierarchy that he would fund the cost to ensure that every member could take up to 2 friends or family. Interesting stuff. Now remember, this is coming from ESPN, which pretty anti-United. It's coming from Mark Ogden again. Mark Ogden is very, very critical of United, rightfully so. But it is a little bit it's a little biased. Mark Ogden. I've not heard him say a single positive thing about United in years. He's always spinning the negative, which most media will do. But it's interesting. Again, this is nowhere near the level of what PSG are doing. But it's nice to see that some of the staff are going to get to go. It's just a shame though that, like Bruno last year, someone's got to step in to handle it because ownership is just not doing it. Unlike Bruno, though, it doesn't sound like Amorim was denied the chance to show his appreciation to the staff with this gesture. So, classy move that from Amorim. I hope Sir Jim is taking notes again. Just like I've said in the video, another strike against Ineos. I think that they can learn a lot from the way other clubs treat their staff, their fans. I did that video the other week. You guys can go ahead and watch that. A link for that is in the description of this one. What Ineos can learn from Wrexham and what Wrexham's new owners have done just in the last couple of years alone. I'm not talking about back-to-back promotions. I'm talking about the prioritization of the staff, the players, the Welsh culture, the community, all of that. They have really made sure not to lose sight of the lifeblood, the DNA of that club. And it's felt like the last 20 years we have gotten so far away from that. And that's the whole point of that video, was how do we get back to that? What Ineos can do. So go check that one out, because I think maybe I should send the link to the club, and maybe they should give it a watch too. But let's see what we got going on in the chat here. You guys get involved in this chat. Let me know your thoughts on all this ticket crap. Sports Predictions, welcome back, man. Hope you are doing well. So we're giving free tickets to fans, but not the staff. Are they giving free tickets? So we're just allocated 15,000. So what that means is 15,000 United fans can, that's how much, but they're not giving away 15,000. That's what we have for our fans. And then Spurs will have, an allocation as well. If they're giving away free tickets for the final, I'm not aware of that. I know they're giving away some tickets for the game against Aston Villa. I think there's a giveaway for that going on right now. I saw that earlier. But they don't want to pay for the staff to go, because basically you're paying for 3 tickets for every one person, because they would have had every staff member be able to take 2 people, and that's hefty. That's about $6,000. Well, value now, I don't know what face value is on those tickets, but it's a big chunk of change. So it's interesting. It's getting cloudy now. I got to turn this. Sorry, guys. The lighting is so hard to control in here in the afternoon because it's just weird lighting in here. So hopefully I'll sit a little closer so we can see each other a little better. But Sports Fiction says, why the F isn't Sir Jim paying this? He is a billionaire. I mean, it's out of his pocket. I mean, I couldn't tell you why. That's what we're talking about today. Obviously, no one's going to talk about why. They're going to talk about the what. Doesn't see. I mean, he's not going to pay for it, obviously. And there's no, it would be a great gesture, Sports Fictions. I think you're right. I think that in a season that's been just riddled with negative optics, negative PR, just really harsh, albeit sometimes necessary, but harsh decisions that have kind of impacted staff and whatnot. I think that would have been a tremendous gesture from Ineos to say, hey, we're going to pay for the staff. I mean, PSG are doing it, like I just said. I don't know what Spurs are doing. If anyone can tell me what Spurs are doing, you let me know. I doubt. I wouldn't count on Daniel Levy springing. He's pretty cheap. But yes, you're right. It would have been a good gesture by Sir Jim, I think, to front, a couple grand, 10, 15 grand, pay for some tickets and whatnot. So it would be pocket change. But I've also said before, you got to be cheap if you want to be rich. And I don't think Sir Jim is the kind of person who's going to spend money that he doesn't need or want to spend unless it's absolutely vital. Most billionaires do tend to get like that because you don't get rich by being bad with your money. I'm not saying that this would not be a good thing to do. I'm just saying, like, if it's not necessary, they're probably not going to spend money on it. So I don't think a lot of billionaires would spend $3 on a bottle of water if they didn't feel like they had to, unless they could get it for somebody else to pay for it. So it is what it is. I mean, it's not judgmental. I'm just saying you have to kind of spend like you are broke if you want to be rich, basically. So yeah, I went to church with a pro NFL football player, and he and his wife, so he would help out with like what was called Financial Peace University. So that like there were seminars at the church, they would help you kind of budget, but he came and spoke because yes, he was a professional football player, but he and his wife also lived as if they only made us like 60 grand a year, I think he said. So that's a way to kind of do that. So super nice guy. I don't know where he is these days though. He was playing for the Lions for a while. That's how he got to our church. So Sports Fiction says you should care about the people that work for you and their families. No, I 100% agree. We should be showing the appreciation. Again, now the reasoning was again, like I said, supposedly that they wanted to make sure that the fans had the maximum amount of ticket. Now, I personally, if I were Ineos, I would look after a certain point and say, hey, we have this many tickets left. Let's go ahead. Like if the fans haven't purchased all the tickets, like I would maybe give the rest of those to the staff and family, whoever has it. If that were me personally, I would front that myself as Ineos. I would pay for that and say, okay, well, the fans, we gave them until this day. Anyone who would have gone has got the ticket. It's literally a week from now. If you don't have a ticket by now, you're not going to go. So I probably would have. That's what I would do, but it's not me. So Danny says, yeah, cheap. whoever created the rat emoji a long time ago, I mean, I don't know if they saw Sir Jim coming or what, but I think that emoji's probably been the most used one on United fan channels over the last year. And if you could make like chat signatures, like something that popped up on every single chat automatically, that'd probably be in there for you, man. But big up, dude. Welcome to the channel, man. Says, like Ruben says in his press conference today, how can Sir Jim Ratcliffe pay for the staff's final ticket when he's just made the other half redundant? Yeah. Again, there's literally nothing about this that is a good look, right? The optics are only bad. You can't turn around and do that. What's really going to piss everyone off is, let's say we do get to the final, or not, sorry, we do win the final and we get Champions League. What that means is literally all the players who had their wages cut by 25% are now getting that 25% back into their weekly salaries. Now, the media are pushing this as like, ew, it's a bonus. It's not a bonus. They had a certain salary range when they signed the club. Without Champions League football, that goes down here. When we get Champions League football, it's going right back to where it was. It's not like they're getting more than they did. Now, I am the kind of person who, if I had a player who was an absolute standout, I would definitely give them bonuses for performances. But it is what it is. But yes, Amorim paying for his support staff, physios, things like that. Going on right now. Now, it sounds like, too, there's a chance that Amorim will not be alone in this. The Avengers are assembling, folks. So this was put out earlier today. I don't know if you guys saw this. So United had a post. It looks like their official Instagram. Is that Instagram? I don't know. I don't have Instagram. So someone let me know if that's something other than Instagram. But there's some posts about the club, and Eric, the king of the North, popped up and said, "I will fund another 30 staff and their families out Bilbao." And then on top of that, Bruno jumps in and says, "Let me do it for 50 families. Everyone deserves to attend the final." And then Uncle Patty Evra jumped on and said, 30 from me if Ineos and the Glazers are too broke. So there you go. There's an extra 110 right there on top of the roof. Almost 150 extra people. We're getting there. It's a quarter of what PSG are paying for. So sounds like the Avengers are assembling. It sounds like that this has not gone unnoticed by some former players. The absolute state of that, though, like, this is embarrassing. Like, you have to think too that Ineos are not going to be too happy to see that posted on their official Instagram, if that's what's going on there. Makes them look like absolute Muppets, honestly. Biggest club in the world, and we are an absolute laughing stock when it comes to this kind of stuff. It has just been one after another of just this poor optics, poor PR, poor everything. Absolute shambles of a club right now in so many ways. I'm so annoyed. But I don't know if you guys saw that. I saw it, I thought it was hilarious. But sticking with Amorim for a second, as going off of Dave's comment. So I've seen some fans criticizing Amorim throughout the year for all the interviews that he's done since joining the club. A lot of people are saying, like, he loves the sound of his voice. He just likes to talk. He's all talk, right? But Amorim himself has sort of made it clear, like, even from early on, that he's not a fan. Like, he's a bit overwhelmed by how many interviews he's had to do. They do take up a lot of time. Yes, the interviews themselves may be 10 minutes, but it's just, you're adding 10 minutes to get there. If you're not already at Carrington, you got to travel to where the interview's at, or you got to go to Carrington. If you're not already at Carrington, you've got to do all this stuff. You got to get prepped, makeup, all that crap. But it came out this week that since becoming United manager, Amorim has given 491 interviews. 491 interviews. The guy's been here since November. That's average about more than 2 interviews a day. That would do my head in. I've already told you guys before that I could never be a manager because of the interviews. I hate doing that kind of stuff. And you guys have seen, I barely talk about pressers these days unless there's some really good stuff, because they're all the same. If honestly, as a manager, I would just say, you know what, just watch the last one, because I know you guys are going to ask me the same questions. And I don't I have a pet peeve. I hate repeating myself, like, about stuff. So I'm just like, no. Or I would just show up with a blank checkbook and just rip into somebody, like a ref or something, and say, find me whoever you want. I brought the checkbook. I'll write down any number you need me to write down. But problem is this is part of the package when you're at United. Literally, United are contracted to do these interviews, whether you're a player, whether you're a coach. You don't get out of it. It's part of it. Same with signing stuff, or like post-match interviews. All that is, you're contractually bound to do that. So most of these are going to be pre and post-match pressers. So when you're successful in various competitions, you're going to play more matches, and therefore you're going to have to give more interviews. It's just part of it. But it's these random interviews that he's had to do with, like, Sky and TNT and stuff, that are just unnecessary. Dozens of them. I'm like, come on. That's just ridiculous. But that came out yesterday. I thought I would throw that in there because it's very, very interesting. Sports Vision says United needs to get rid of 80% of their squad, but I don't see that happening anytime soon. And staff members rotation will up anytime soon. There's no excuse. It's the staff stuff is difficult because we've talked about it before. No one wants to see people lose their jobs. The question is, how did the workforce at United, how did the staff get to be as bloated as it has. I'm not trying to say that they're useless or anything, but in the last like 10 decade or so, like the staff has like tripled almost at United. It's way more than any other club in the league. And that's just no need for that necessarily. Like, how many people does it take to do a job? I think that, again, this is just the Glazers trying to just look like a big club instead of actually digging into the foundations. They're happy to just keep throwing a fresh coat of paint on stuff rather than just actually dig deep and fix it from the foundational level. It is unfortunate. It is what it is. And I've said many times, these are necessary decisions. They're not great decisions and they're never going to look good, but it is what it is. Sports says Sky is making a bag off United. I mean, they tried to a long time ago, didn't they? And it didn't work out. So they're making their bag either way. This is ridiculous. I can't wait till they start firing people at Sky, because the journos in that country or in the UK are just, I've said it many times before, lots of money being wasted on journalism degrees in the UK. But moving on, you guys, don't let me know your thoughts on that as we move on, because we've got a little bit more news to take care of today. Not a big news day in terms of just the number of stories, but obviously big events. So we got a bit of coaching news coming in now. We got a United coach that looks like he is leaving at the end of the season. This has been confirmed. Nope, it's not Amorim. It's not any of his support staff. It's not Mark Skinner, despite what a lot of United fans are crying for this year. But under-18s coach Adam Lawrence is going to be leaving the club at the end of the season after 4 years. Now, I know the juxtaposition of this in relation to what we were just talking about makes it a little sketch, but no, before any of you say this is Ineos making cuts, it's not. Lawrence is just, he wants to take the next step in his career. He's come through the under-16s and the under-18s, and now he wants to go try his hand probably at first-team football someplace. I think he could probably go do very well down in like League 2 or something and get a start. So Nick Cox, the academy director, has said, had this to say. He said, Adam has contributed a great deal to our club during his 4 years at United. His passion for helping young players maximize their potential has played a significant role in the success of our academy. We take great pride in supporting and assisting the development of our staff. And Adam is a great example of this. He has progressed from the under-16s, the under-18s, achieved success, and is now ready to take on a new challenge in football. The entire academy thanks Adam for his service and wishes him well in the future. Yeah, he's done really, really well. The under-18s finished second in the Premier League 2 this year, just behind City. Have some good matches, you guys. We've watched a lot of these matches together, and we've talked about them a lot. The academy is probably the best it's been in 30, 40 years almost. Like this, it's very, very well. I'm really happy with the academy, but big up Adam Lawrence. Thank you for the work you've done. So interesting to see who steps in. I know Phil Jones is taking his badges right now, and he's been working basically alongside the under-21s and the under-18s, soaking that in. Yes, Phil Jones is still here. He's, again, doing his coaching badges, so there's that. But big up Adam Lawrence there. So moving on to some transfer news, bro. What Sports Weekend says, bro, I couldn't agree more. Journalism in England is so ass. Anyone can be a journalist. Journalists are classes. Well, the problem with this is, like, it seems like all you have to do now is be like, have a blue tick on Twitter and you call yourself a journalist. But it does seem also like, and I've said it many times, like major outlets like TalkSport, BBC, they're becoming more and more sensationalist, more and more just, I don't want to say controversial. They're just, the statements and the kind of opinions that they throw out is just becoming more and more like aimed at just drawing engagement, whether that's negative or not, because they're just not as good, in my opinion, as a lot of even just like fan channels. And I'm not saying I don't count myself in that. And this is a very small channel. I don't, but there are other channels that more people watch, more people follow, more people engage with than Sky, than the BBC. I mean, Ref Watch. The only reason people talk about Ref Watch is to talk about how garbage it is. And this is what the major media outlets are having to compete with. Journalism degrees, again, you're with social media and things like that, you almost don't, like, you don't need to go to school to be a journalist anymore, like you're saying. So and that's the threat. That's the threat for a lot of things, though. It's annoying. Sports Fiction says, who can get the clicks? Yep, couldn't agree more. Yeah. Trying to get the engagement either way you can. Even like Strata News. I like working for Strata News when I was there. It was awesome. I loved writing. I just like writing. As you can see, I like talking about United. I like engaging with people, having chats. I love writing about it. So, and I was proud of the work that I did there. I was proud of the work that they were doing. I think it's a very good site. And I think that those sites are great. You don't like nobody there has a journalism degree. I have a bachelor's in writing. That's about as close as I got to a journalism degree, but it was fun. It was a good time. And those are the kind of things I encourage. Now, always check the sources on everything. So this is why I don't really talk about like caught offside or like fricayes and stuff like that, but check your sources. But you can find a lot of really good information from other places. So keep that in mind. How about some transfer news? You guys want to talk some transfer news? So we got a first little bit, another new link coming. So we talked the other day, a bit of a new link, Sandro Tonali, but we got another link to a Premier League player. This is coming from Dharmesh Sheth at Sky Sports, who we just spent 5 minutes bashing, Sky Sports. But, so he reports that United are keeping an eye on Nottingham Forest winger Callum Hudson-Odoi and his situation right now. Talks apparently over his contract at Forest are ongoing. Nothing's been agreed, but his current deal is up next summer, so he's got just over a year left. So entering the final year of his contract, Hudson-Odoi. No thanks. No thanks to Hudson-Odoi, please. I just gotta stop playing with these dogs before I go live. I got hair all over me. No thanks to Hudson-Odoi. Not good enough, in my opinion. The numbers back that up. Not too many injuries. So hamstrings are literally just made of celery at this point. And I didn't even need to hire someone to make an algorithm to find that out. So Ineos, I'm already saving you money, you guys. So this is just like, no, thank you to Hudson-Odoi. I've never seen anything from Hudson-Odoi that's made me think, yep, he's got it. He looks like just a slightly better version of Garnacho, in my opinion, because he's older than Garnacho, so that makes sense. But I'm not. You guys know me. The first thing I'm looking at right now is injuries, and this dude's hamstrings are done. So moving on. But you let me know, is Callum Hudson-Odoi the answer, or would you avoid that like the plague? You guys let me know. One player, though, that I really wanted us to look at to solve our goal-scoring problem, he looks like he's definitely leaving the club. It has been confirmed as a free agent. He does have major interest from a club who looks likely to win a title this season, and I am talking about Lille striker Jonathan David. He will be leaving. The league's official social media channels have confirmed this. According to Fabrizio Romano, David has confirmed he'll be leaving on a free, and apparently he has an offer on the table from Napoli, interestingly enough. I can't remember right off the top of my head. Doesn't Lukaku play for Napoli? Maybe Lukaku's on his way to the Saudi league or something, but would be bummed not to get Jonathan David on a free. I think that's probably one of the biggest no-brainer deals of the summer outside of Cherki, Bashali, and Frimpong's low release clause. Those are just that's literally $60 million and gets you 4 players, all of whom are excellent in their positions. I could be director of football. I'm just saying. But are you bummed about that? Do you think we have our eyes on somebody else? Is it Gyökeres? Is it Osimhen? The Osimhen stuff's gone quiet. Is it Liam Delap? That stuff won't go away this week. Big up, Usman. How you doing, my friend? Good to see you. Hope you're doing well. Hope the family's doing well. Big up, man. Agile says no, thank you on Hudson-Odoi. Yeah, I'm good on Hudson-Odoi. I'm all set on that. Sports Prediction says yeah, no go for me. Ooh, Danny throwing it back here. Hell no, Alanga way better. It's so funny that Alanga was seen as like not better than Rashford. They're very similar, Alanga and Rashford, but now Alanga's like surpassed him in these last couple of years, right? I'm not saying that I think Alanga is a difference maker. He's very well suited to the way that Forest play. He does need a lot of space to work with, kind of like Brennan Johnson and whatnot. But so maybe under Ollie and stuff, because obviously Ollie liked them. I think Alanga would do very well, or even under Jose. But it is what it is. Sports Fiction says Delap is Højlund 2.0. Well, we'll see. You can, if we get Delap, it's literally like they're the same player. I think Delap is just. I honestly think that Højlund is better, but I think Delap is better suited to the Premier League than Højlund is, if that makes sense. He looks more like he can hang in the Premier League from a physical standpoint. Now, Question still over if he's going to get to that next level, Delap, because his numbers, he's having the best season, but it's not like it's a tremendous season. It's definitely not a difference maker for us. It doesn't move the needle for us to be getting anywhere closer to like a top 4 finish, challenging. I don't look at Delap and say, yeah, we signed him, we're making a strong push for the league next year. I don't get that vibe. I get that vibe with Jonathan David. I get that vibe with Gyökeres, even Osimhen to an extent. I get that vibe. But it's not just down to a striker, but having a striker who can put away the chances that we create would make a huge difference. But it does sound like maybe Jonathan David will be going to Napoli. According to Fabrizio Romano, now he says there's an offer on the table, and he's confirmed he's leaving at the end of the season. But we see what happens. Wherever he goes, that team is getting a good striker. Elanga, you guys love you some Elanga. We had like a ton of wingers coming through this club not that long ago. Guys like Chong, Elanga. Who's the other one? Amari Forsen. And then the only one that people remember right now is Elanga. So it's anyone's guess, though, who we're going to be signing. But Muppeteers, if you guys follow Muppeteers, claims that we'll be for sure getting rid of a few players this summer. Now, Muppeteers reports that Amorim is demanding a clear out in the squad. Now, his comments following the West Ham game and that result, that absolute shit show of a performance, those comments could be interpreted as Amorim kind of getting a little fed up, frustrated with the just in the mud mentality in the squad right now. We've seen these players just time and time again just fail to show up on the day. Weak mentality in a variety of situations, zero resilience whatsoever, lack of urgency, lack of aggression, lack of fight. These are literally the words out of Amorim's mouth after this West Ham game. He mentioned a lack of urgency like literally 9 times. And he hasn't been shy about calling out what's missing. He hasn't been shy about criticizing the performance. So he's not just throwing players under the bus. He does take responsibility, but the guy's not shied away from just being very critical of the team this year overall, not just players. So, but I'd be interested to see who we get rid of. It sounds like we know some players already who are just not in the plans. Guys like Malacia, Antony, Rashford. Sancho could be coming back on paper, but I doubt he'll be staying. I think he's kind of burned his bridges at this club. Sancho, he's definitely burned his bridges with some fans. I mean, if these players would just stay off social media, I think that Sancho could have a route back to this team. But damage is done, bro. Sorry. But we are going to be losing a lot of players. So Eriksen, Lindelof, probably Evans as well, you'd think. Who else could probably be leaving? Maybe Shaw. I could see Shaw, just people getting fed up with the injuries. If he could have a strong push at the end of the season, Shaw, we might get interest from someone like, I don't know, Newcastle or something. I have no idea, but we'll see what that looks like. But you guys let me know who you'd for sure sell. Who's first on your list? Aside from the players who we know are leaving, who else would you be just putting first on your chopping block? Let me know. I definitely listen to offers for Dallo. I just don't think he can hang. But then again, we do need someone else in that position if we get rid of Dallo, unfortunately. I'm trying to think off the top of my head who I would get rid of. It wouldn't be first on my list, but if we got, it would take a big offer for me to maybe sell Garnacho. Casemiro, I would still take money for because he's entering the final year of his contract, I believe. It'd be nice to get those wages off the books. Shaw, I'd sell Onana for sure. Onana's probably the biggest name that I would sell because there's just so many better keepers out there. So, but you guys let me know who you would sell off the top. Yeah, maybe we'll do like up of maybe like rating the players. Maybe we'll do a keep sell towards the end of things once the season is done and dusted. Let me know if that's something you guys would like to see done. But so kind of from around the grounds a little bit, it was announced that Everton obviously getting a new stadium. The original plan was to demolish Goodison Park. Sounds like that has been scrapped. They will no longer be demolishing Goodison Park. And now from next season, Goodison Park will become the home ground to Everton's women's team. Also, not only does this preserve, I mean, you can be a rival I want, but Goodison Park is one of the historic football grounds like United, like Old Trafford and whatnot. It preserves that piece of history, but it also gives the women's team a bit of respect, a bit of prominence, a bit of status. Like, hey, we think highly of you. We want you guys to have this ground, to inherit it, basically take care of it. Again, I hope Sir Jim is taking notes. I said the same thing in my video, what they can learn from Welcome to Wrexham. Again, go watch that if you haven't yet. We can do the same with Old Trafford in the next 5-6 years when we build this new stadium. Downsize the seating if you want. I don't think the academy and the women's team need 70 some odd thousand seats. No disrespect. I just think that's the way it is. Downsize the seating. You can turn a lot of those areas of the stands into offices, corporate offices. You can consolidate all your stuff. You can make that where your staff are. You can turn that into events for, businesses and whatnot, things like conference halls and whatnot. You can convert a lot of that stuff. You can put restaurants in there if you want to. You can probably convert that into dorms for the academy or even the women's team to stay at while, at their ground. You could do a lot of stuff with it. But use Old Trafford. Don't demolish it. Use it for the women's team. Use it for the academy. Let them share that space. That's just what I would do with it. I've said that many times on the channel. You guys know that. Sports Fiction says, if I were a defender at United, I wouldn't feel confident at all with Onana between the sticks. Yeah, you just don't know what he's going to do. I mean, you can almost bet your house that he's not going to come off his line, but at the same time, you're not trained at all to think that way. A keeper should be coming off his line to get some of these things. And it forces everybody to second guess. It forces everybody to do things they're not used to doing. And all it does is make everybody nervous, everybody unsure, confused. That's why you have to communicate. But what are you going to do? We got a little injury updates before the head of the final. So we're going to talk more about a lot of this going into the final. We're going to be doing a big preview for that. But we did get a little bit of injuries because Amorim did his pre-match presser for the final today. So he was asked about Euro, Heaven, DeLitt, and whatnot. He stated he doesn't know if they're going to be fit, but they are working hard to be fit. This is what he had to say. He said, we're going to try to push because it's the final matches, and this is a final. You know that. All the players want to play that really bad. I don't know. I think they will not go to Chelsea on Friday, but we will have the possibility to have some of them for the final. So again, he's talking about Euro, Heaven, DeLitt, maybe Dallo as well. So again, I wouldn't risk it. We'll be doing the Chelsea preview tomorrow, so we'll talk a little bit about that. But obviously, every player wants to play. A lot of them are just not going to be fit, guys like Xerxes and whatnot. He said, Dallo is trying really bad. I don't want to risk Dallo because when you start getting one injury, second injury follows. And that's a big thing. We cannot have these kind of problems in our squad, so we will see. But he's working really hard to get to the final. And he's talking about Dallo. So we've got players who are really fighting against the clock right now to get back for the final. Be interesting to see if they do. I wouldn't risk any of them against Chelsea on Friday. Literally would not risk any. The team I want to see on Friday is a team that I want people, even United fans, to have to go Google who these players are, because I don't want to see any big stars like we saw against West Ham. I don't want another Lenny Euro situation. I don't want any of that to happen. They'll be fine. Start kids, maybe for like 20, 25 minutes at the end. You can rotate on a bunch of first teamers and whatnot, but I'm done with injuries. We have one game that we need everybody fit for. They're match fit. They're fine. They don't need to be playing 20 minutes in the Premier League match to get match fit. They're match fit. They're fine. What we got here? Sports Fiction says Onana has stupid confidence. He doesn't have any confidence, bro. The guy is just shooketh all the time. On Spurs, though, Spurs could also be without another key player for the final. Real quick, bit of news today. Kulusevski had surgery on his patella, which is in your knee. Probably not going to be fit in a week. He was on crutches. Obviously, surgery, you're not going to come back from surgery in a week, right? They are already missing James Maddison and Lucas Bergvall for this final as well. They've got their full contingency with defense, it looks like, and they heavily rotated on their match of the weekend as well. Again, we're going to do a more in-depth preview of the final a few days before that. I'm hoping Monday afternoon, if that works out. I'm hoping also to have a few guests join me, because we are going to make kind of a whole thing of it, probably looking at a longer stream. We are going to be going back, kind of talking about some of the highlights, the matches, the moments from the Europa League campaign. As for our entirety of the road to the final, we're going to talk about a lot of that stuff. We're going to obviously be talking tactics, get some input from the guests. What do their starting 11s look like, things like that. So please be sure to jump back on that, get involved in that stream. It's going to be fun. Going to be a whole thing. Like I said, probably a good couple hours long. But make sure you stop by and get involved in that for sure. But that is going to do it for me on the news. Like I said, really wanted you guys' thoughts on some of this ticket situation and things like that, and how you feel about that. Because it is a tough spot to be in. But again, at the end of the day, it's just all everyone's going to care about is how it looks. And it does not look good, especially when you add it onto all of the other stuff that's happened this year. It's just another piece of shit on the pile. So let me know. I'll see you guys get a couple, whatever your closing thoughts are in the chat before I let you guys get going here. Sports Picture says, bro, do you think Ruben should get sacked? No, I don't think Ruben should get sacked. Do I think some of the stuff that he's done this year, do I think he could have done differently and done better? Yeah, but just it's not as black or white as that. It's not like, hey, you made this mistake, you should get sacked. It's just, it is what it is. Do I think that we should be in 17th? No. Do I put some of that responsibility on Ruben? Yeah. Is all of it? No, because he's not the one out there missing sitters. He's not the one out there letting cutback goals go in. He's not the one out there failing to clear the box. Like, that's just is what it is. It's like that with any manager. So we'll see how it goes. But no, I would not sack him. The guy's not even had a preseason. He's not even had a single window to start getting some of this dross out of the squad yet. So he doesn't have the players he needs for this system. That's literally like Scotty from Scotty Amati said the other day. That's like going to work and you're told that you don't have a computer to do your job. Like, you don't have the required equipment to do your job. You're not going to do a good job. It just is what it is. So we'll see what happens. We definitely need to look at more physical players that are more mental in terms of their just resilience, their strength, and things like that. So, but I do not think you get sacked. You guys let Sports Predictions know, should Amorim be sacked or not. I'll let you guys discuss that amongst yourselves, because I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you guys for stopping by today. Please get your thoughts in the comments. Please hit that like button on your way out. Please subscribe to the channel. Go check out the UVE store if you want sweet designs like this one. I had to get a sample to see how this looked. It turned out beautifully. These are the 93, 94 shirts, the home, away, and the thirds. Tons of designs like that, one of a kind. Go check out the UVE store. Super cheap stuff, unique designs. Check out the memberships as well. If you want to go get jerseys, don't want to spend an arm and a leg, there is a link in the description and a unique code. You can go to GoGoalShop. Use that code when you sign in, and when you register, you will get $5 off. The stuff's already cheap anyway, so you're getting great deals. I try to hook you guys up show my appreciation. I wouldn't recommend it if I didn't trust it. You guys have seen me get stuff from GoGoalShop. It's all legit. Go for it. You guys take care. Thanks for stopping by, you guys. Come back tomorrow. We'll do a little quick preview of the Chelsea match, which, again, admittedly, I don't care much about, but we're still going to talk about it. I'm mostly just going to be here to talk about what my starting 11 is going to look like. So be prepared to share your thoughts on that, you guys. Take it easy. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys tomorrow. And then obviously be sure to come back hopefully Monday afternoon for the big preview of the final. So until then, thank you guys. Talk to you later. Peace.